Hey everybody, it's Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Welcome to the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast, where I guess football season is just over now. It's me, your man, MG Marcas Grant, joined by Michael F. Florio and LaQuan Jones. LQ, I take no pleasure in saying this, but join us all on the couch for Super Bowl 60.
I like how you served that up. That wasn't mean. That was normal. It wasn't, I expected a lot coming into this show this morning. I expected a lot of knife turning from Florio. You making another poem or rap. Is nothing coming from this? Like, are we just going to act like nothing happened?
No. I mean, most of it we got out during the text chain over the weekend. I think we got a lot of it out over the weekend.
Nope. My phone was in the other room charging.
I figured you were. I figured you had separated yourself from your phone because you were very quiet. Like, there was a lot of radio silence from you over the weekend.
My mom,
especially after the game, it was. I don't blame you, but it was from an outsider. It was kind of. I got a chuckle out of it.
I didn't know that many people cared, to be honest. Like, I know this is the cold open, but just to take a second, like, thank you for caring that much or reaching out to me on all social media platforms. my text messages from people I went to high school with I haven't spoken to since graduation. Shout out to you. Dude, but we're good.
You've been loud. You've been loud on Maine all year long about it. Of course you were going to.
It's insane. It's insane amount of people.
I got a couple of tweets about it. Like, when Cooper Kupp had that catch at the end, someone tweeted me and they're like, my first thought was LaQuan. And like, I'm not even part of this.
My God.
But real talk, it was an entertaining game. It was a well-played game, especially in contrast to the game that was played earlier in the day. I think everybody going into it felt like that game was essentially the Super Bowl. I mean, I think most observers were like, whoever wins in the NFC is probably going to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
So no, it was a well-played game. And we gave you hell in the text chat, but I feel like I got it out now. Like
we're moving on. Football still lives within me. I mean, as you can see, my Manchester United jersey is on. We're moving on to a whole nother sport.
I will say that it was a very cool, like, TikTok or whatever it was where you pull off the Rams jersey, but I was like, I know there's pure pain in him as he's recording this.
You can see it in my eyes.
Yeah, man.
But I had a very good weekend, man. I mean, especially when your favorite soccer team defeats the top of the table, those Gooners, the Arsenal.
They're still at the top of the table, though. So
but you guys lost. And the city has been painted red in our derby 2 weeks ago. Michael Carrick being back in Manchester, it just feels good. It just feels good, Sir Alex Ferguson, foundation of how football should be being played. So happy over here, man.
So that's what it is now. Your fourth place team is painting the town red. Okay. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about on the show. Of course, we're going to break down the championship games, AFC and NFC, but got a lot of news since the last time we spoke to you, including some news that broke this morning. Like, I come home after dropping off my kid at school, and a lot of times I just sort of waste time until we do this show, right? Maybe I eat something. Most of the time I'm just scrolling on my phone with, like, Mystery Science Theater playing in the background. It's a waste of time. So today I decided, you know what? I'm going to be productive. I'm going to get on the treadmill, and I'm going to walk while I rewatch a little bit of the games from the weekend, and then I get a text from you, LaQuan, in the group chat saying, "Congrats, Flo." I was like, what did I miss now? Right? I'm like, I'm not trying to dig through social media. I'm like, just what did I miss? And what I missed is that the Bills have promoted Joe Brady to be their next head coach in the wake of firing Sean McDermott. Talking about people with pain in their eyes, Michael F. Florio, I give you the floor to express whatever feelings you have right now.
I'll try to keep it abbreviated because I could do this all day.
Like Captain America, I can do this all day.
Legitimately, if you remember, I think it was on Thursday, you guys asked me Tuesday, whenever they fired McDermott, we talked about it. And I was like, I just don't want Joe Brady. And if you go on social media, every single Bills fan right now feels the same way. And look, I get it. Under him, Josh won an MVP. James Cook won a rushing title. They've averaged a ton of points. Like they're They're first, I think, in EPA. And so I won't say the offense was necessarily the problem, but I also think those stats are highly, highly inflated because it was a flawed offense, right? Like they could run with the best of them. And when you have Josh Allen, he's going to bail you out and make you look good a lot of times. But, and I know a lot of people are going to blame the personnel, and I've already seen people starting to be like, it was McDermott's fingerprints and it was how he wanted the offense ran. But since Joe Brady has got here and taken over control, they have not been able to scheme up wide receivers. Like Steph Diggs fell off a cliff. He went from being a top 5 fantasy wide receiver to unusable when they made the move in season in 2023 to get rid of Ken Dorsey and promote Joe Brady. And that's the other thing, right? Is people are like, Josh clearly wanted Joe Brady. Yeah, Josh championed to make Joe Brady the OC when he was his quarterback coach. Josh also championed to hire Ken Dorsey, who was fired. He also championed to draft Keon Coleman. I'm not saying you don't make your quarterback a part of it, but I'm saying you don't give him total, complete control either. And to me, this felt, and look, I don't know if people are going to get upset with me saying this or not, but this felt like a Brandon Beane ego move, right? Like, I'm going to hire a guy who I already work with, who I know will listen to me and stuff like that, rather than someone outside who's going to want to bring in his own guys, his own ideas. So, yeah, maybe the offense looks different. I don't really anticipate that. Maybe they go out and they get a stud wide receiver. I hope so, but I expect it to look very similar, maybe with a worse O-line because they're losing their center and their left guard this year. So who knows? But this was to me like since 2020 when Josh Allen broke out, I've been very confident that the Bills will win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen. This last 2 weeks has really shaken that for me, and now I'm like, the pressure's on you, Brandon Beane, right? Like they scapegoated Sean McDermott and are saying he's the only reason we didn't make it because everyone else got a promotion. Pressure's on you now, dog. Like there's no one, just like a couple years ago when McDermott fired Leslie Frazier and Dorsey and hired a bunch of first-time play callers. It was like, okay, now the pressure's on you, McDermott. We're 3 years later, and it's just now on Brandon Beane. And I could keep going, but the fantasy spin on this, I would say, James Cook should be a first-round pick next year.
Yes, that is the bingo right there.
So I remember we did our mock draft, a few weeks ago, and he was like, I think he was 12, right? I think he's the number 12 pick in our mock draft. I am curious, we all had the idea that we should do some of these, at least monthly. And I wonder the next time we do this, where James Cook goes. Is he still at 12? Does he move up? That I'm sort of curious about for sure. Back to kind of a football side of this. You mentioned Brandon Beane a couple of times. I feel like if I'm Brandon Beane, I'm trying to just quietly hide in my office and hope that people don't notice that I'm there.
Close the shades.
Yeah.
We're closed.
I'm just going to hang out
He's
in the
the face
office.
of the operation now.
I mean, he is, but honestly, the fact that all of this is going on around you, right? You fired Sean McDermott. And I do love a lot of the consensus on social media is that everything the Bills have done in the time since firing Sean McDermott has only brought people more on McDermott's side. Like watching the way they have sort of handled this whole thing, right? Whether it's...
He doesn't deserve that, though. Like, he's had a lot of blunders and his defense has failed in the biggest moments time and time again.
I mean, that's probably fair. But I just think it's one, the Phillip Rivers thing, which I get it. I don't think anybody legitimately thought Phillip Rivers was going to get a head coaching job with the Bills. But the fact that it became such a story, right? I will tell you that I did not know where Davis Webb was until yesterday when I found out he was interviewing with the Bills. Last I remember Davis Webb, as a mediocre college quarterback and a below average NFL backup. But I guess he's been the quarterback coach for the Broncos this year. And he was interviewing. It just felt like the interview coach hiring process was, for lack of a better term, kind of a joke. Like they were just throwing names against the wall because it felt like they always wanted to just go this way with Joe Brady. And they're like, well, we got to put some names out there to make this feel like a legitimate coaching hire. Because you do all of that, and then you just take the guy who's been standing next to Sean McDermott for the last year or so.
And all the photos, the group photos with Ken Dorsey, Joe Brady, Sean McDermott, the guy that you weren't worried about is the guy that's going to take both of your jobs. That's literally what it came down to.
Marcus, I want to ask you, because you've been doing this the longest of all three of us. Do you remember a time when a head coach got fired and then they were just like, we're keeping the rest of the operation going? Because it doesn't happen.
It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't for a lot of reasons, just from a common sense standpoint, right? If you are a new head coach, you don't want the old, when you move into a new house, right? You don't keep all the old furniture there. You don't leave the old family photos up for the last people who lived there. Like, you want this to be your house. And even if you think Joe Brady and all the other coaches are good guys and you like them, if I'm a new head coach, I just want to be able to build this thing in my way. And because inevitably you're going to get, whether it's intentional or not, you're going to get somebody say, well, previously we used to do it like this. That's not going to work for me. It's just not going to work. So, yeah.
Free Josh.
I sent a text today that pained me. I was like, future Rams quarterback Josh Allen.
Yo, chill out.
And I'm telling you this now. If they fail around him again and he goes somewhere else, I'm leaving with him. I'm putting that on right now. The last couple of weeks, I am so over how things are being ran right now. I hope I'm wrong. I hope next season at this time I get to come on here and say, you know what? I couldn't have been more wrong. But I just don't see it as of today.
It's fresh. This is how it feels right now, bro. Like we've all been in that spot with our favorite sports teams where they start doing some weird stuff and be like, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. I'm totally over it. Like, I get it.
There's been times as a Bills fan throughout the last couple of years where, like, because you guys know I was on the anti-McDermott before it was like kind of trendy.
Since I met you.
Yeah, legitimately since 13 seconds, I've been like, you just need to clear it out, right? And I think that after this loss is comparable to 13 seconds, right? Like, the Bills should, in my opinion, should be gearing up for a Super Bowl right now. But they're not, because they themselves blew it. And everyone was crying, and they were like, literally, they said there's no coming back from that. But now they're going to bring back most of the same guys, I would imagine. I know whoever they hire as a DC is going to have a lot to do with that. But, like, I wanted new bodies in here, right? New minds. Like, get rid of the old. And kind of, I know you got to keep some of it. You can't return a whole roster. But, like, it feels like now they're just going to be running it back and saying, oh, well, McDermott was the reason we couldn't get over.
Yeah. All that being said, Josh Allen's still QB1 in fantasy?
I think so, but I think it's going to be how it's been the last 2 years, where you guys remember we went out to eat in like October, and I was like, I don't think it's a bad idea to trade Josh Allen in fantasy because the weekly ceiling is higher than anyone, right? Like, he legitimately has, I think, the 2 or 3 best QB fantasy games in history. But the floor is lower than it has been under different OCs, and it's been more inconsistent because when the Bills are up, they're just like the Bills only let Josh Allen be Josh Allen when they're down multiple scores. And it's so infuriating because I said this a lot, and I will say it again. If you own a Ferrari, you don't just drive it to Trader Joe's and back.
True.
Why not? I see people do it every day.
Especially because the parking lot's a disaster and you would just
can drive it to Trader Joe's. If that's all you're doing, sell the car, you know?
Yeah. That's fair. All right. So are we good now? Is there
I could go all day. You can't believe how many text messages I got this morning just being like, so... And I just had to keep saying it over and over again. Yeah, I don't love it.
Copy paste.
The Steelers have been quite busy over the last several days. The big thing that they are hiring Mike McCarthy as their next head coach. There's been much made about the fact that he is a Pittsburgh native. I guess he grew up as a Steeler fan. So I guess this is kind of a homecoming, sure. But he will not have Arthur Smith to help him out because Arthur Smith is going to be the next offensive coordinator at The Ohio State University. The other part of this, Art Rooney II, team owner, says the door is open for Aaron Rodgers to return.
Ah.
LaQuan, wouldn't number 1 prevent number 3 from happening? Wouldn't the presence of Mike McCarthy pretty much guarantee that Aaron Rodgers ain't coming back?
You would think. But I do think it all comes down to, does Aaron does he want to keep playing? Like, does he still want to continue writing this legacy? Like, it's all a matter of, like, are the pieces in the right place, right? And honestly, speaking to some of my friends who are Steelers fans, and they are on the same wave, as Florio. Like, my one Steelers fan that lives in Jacksonville, he's like, you know what? I'm a Jaguars fan now because I know this is going to be ugly until things get right, until they hit that reset button. He has zero expectations for Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers connection. Like, it's more so of like, this is going to probably be a season where they're going to have they're going to have a draft capital relevance and being at the bottom of the table when it comes to wins next year. I think we're going to see the last hurrah of Aaron Rodgers, I guess, with Mike McCarthy, if that's what's on the table. But ultimately, looking at this, I have no expectations fantasy-wise for any of the players there. Like, I'm not interested in the Jalen Warren if they resign. I'm not interested in the Kenneth Gainwell. I'm not interested in DK Metcalf and whoever else they draft and fail. I'm not on that boat right now because they're not in the end game yet. They're not in that reset yet to where we should be interested in anything that the Pittsburgh Steelers have going on.
Remember Caleb Johnson?
Yeah.
No.
I'm going to say something
Play Caleb Johnson's highlights
that I don't think anyone has ever said ever, right? Like, if they do run it back with Aaron Rodgers, I think they would miss Arthur Smith because Arthur Smith was running this, get the ball out of your hands immediately. It's all about yak. Because Rodgers doesn't have the deep ball anymore. So, like, I say what you will about Arthur Smith, and I've said a lot over the years, but I actually think he was a good fit for what that Steelers offense was because of who if you have no downfield presence, have an OC that can create yak.
That being said, do you think Mike McCarthy is the guy calling the plays, or does he bring in somebody else to kind of handle that? Considering the way it ended in Dallas was not great.
Yeah, no, it really depends on who the OC is, but my initial reaction was like, this is probably Mike McCarthy's last chance. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to go down with everything being in his hands and designing the offense that he wants.
What is Nathaniel Hackett doing right now? I mean, why not? Run it back.
Bill's legend. I'm surprised they didn't hire him, to be honest.
Why'd you even bring that name up? I mean, why? Right?
Just asking. I mean, why not? Bring the band back together. Let's do it. Run it back.
I mean, I still go back to how things went with Nathaniel Hackett in Denver. And like after Sean Payton just trashed him, I just remember the response being, hey man, you shouldn't say that kind of stuff. But nobody was like, you're wrong. Everybody was just like, hey, don't say it out loud.
Don't be a jerk about it. You might be right. It's all a matter of how you deliver the message.
It was the Anthony Mackie, like, he's out of line, but he's right. Like, it was, that was kind of the response to the Nathaniel Hackett thing. I'll say this for Mike McCarthy. Whatever happens, I think for him, Pittsburgh is a good spot in the sense that you're going to get time to build the program. The Steelers are not going to they're not going to just toss you out after 3 years if things go bad, because that just has not been how the Steelers operate. Again, I am the Steelers have had 3 head coaches in my entire lifetime. That's it. Like, I have only known 3 Steelers head coaches in my life. So whatever happens with Mike McCarthy, it's going to take a long time for it to happen. I don't think it's going to be with Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know if that means Mason Rudolph gets the reins for a year if they try and maybe it is Kyler Murray. He's going to look weird in black and yellow.
Who could it be realistically?
He's going to look like Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. It's just going to be the same outcome.
Do they try to run it back with Do they get Justin Fields and give him a shot? I think Justin Fields' days as an NFL starter are done.
Yeah,
I can't see that.
What I would do if I was them is I would sign Phillip Rivers, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, and just be like, Joe Flacco. You're each playing 1 month, and that's it.
Like, we're gonna Hunger Games with veteran quarterbacks.
Yeah, because they're usually good for like a 2 or 3 week burst, and then the bubble pops. So like, let's just see if we could.
Nah, see if Phil Rivers still wants to play. I mean, he ain't taking no coaching job right now. Why not?
Hey, man, St. Michael's Catholic needs him.
And also, like, who is going to be their quarterback? I have no idea.
That really is the question. I mean, Kyler Murray is out there as a possibility.
Brissett, maybe they take whichever one the Cardinals don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
I guess. That's another question, too. Like, at some point, we're going to dive into what the Cardinals quarterback situation is going to be, because I don't think there are two good options there in Arizona. Like, they're obviously done with Kyler, but let's keep it real.
Malik Willis?
You're not riding with Jacoby
How about to say Malik Willis,
games.
Mac Jones? Well, Mac Jones seems like he wants to stay.
Then if I'm the Steelers, maybe I'm pursuing Malik Willis, and maybe I'm pursuing Mac Jones, right? Like
Jerry Stidham. Let's get Stiddy.
Oof. I just rewatched the first half of that game.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
We'll get to that after the break.
It wasn't great.
We'll get to that after the break. I mean, that's going to be the big question.
If you're a Steelers fan, though, right? Like, because I was talking with Greg Rosenthal the other day, and he was like, I actually think their roster's in win now mode. Like, they have a lot of aging talent, but they have a lot of talent. And I'm like, and that is the problem, in my opinion, because McCarthy's going to try to win right away, and he's going to keep you in football purgatory.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I do get Greg's point that they do have a lot of talent. But again, they're not on the hump, right? They're not right at the top of the hill trying to get on the other side, right? They're not the Bills, where you look at it and you're like, this team's close. There's just something missing. We got to figure it out, right? They're not the Rams, who were loaded with talent and just ran into a team that was a little bit better than them on a given day, right? Like, they're not there. They're good enough to win.
I almost cursed on this pod just now.
LaQuan's entire face changed.
Like, what? What did I say? Did I say something wrong? Did I say something incorrect?
Nope.
Okay.
Go ahead. Continue. That's insane. Wow.
It's not even about you. It's not even about you right now.
It's still fresh. You know that, right? I'm trying to contain this demon. Like, I'm trying to contain it. And you just throwing jabs like that, just so nonchalant for what?
Okay, anyway. Steelers are not close. Maybe they win. Maybe they get back to 10-7. Maybe they squeak into the playoffs, and then we're still doing this dance again. The problem is, they don't even have a pretense of a quarterback right now. Like, at least with Aaron Rodgers, you could squint and tell yourself a story that, maybe his football smarts and his years of experience can sort of drag the Steelers along to something. Like, we don't pretend that with Mason Rudolph. We're not really pretending that if it's Jacoby Brissett. I don't even know if you're pretending. I don't know how much you love Malik Willis, Florio. I don't even know if we're pretending that with Malik Willis. Like, there's still so much of a learning curve for him that it's not happening there either.
The other thing is, it's, like when a TV show, like an actor or a host, like Man vs. Food came to mind, where like they changed the host, but they try to keep it going. Like, McCarthy, you can't come in and try to go 9-8 and make a wild card and lose. Like, that's Mike Tomlin's bit. Like, yeah, you got to do something else.
Just win 4 games. Like, just do that. Yeah. Just completely bottom out.
Legitimately talking with Steelers fans, they would rather win 4 games or less than go 9-8 again. Like,
no, yeah. I would agree with them. Let's go back to, so 2020, they were 12-4. They won the division. Since then, 9-7-1, 9-8, 10-7, 10-7, 10-7. That's it. And they haven't won a playoff game, since 2016?
Like Captain America.
And you know what? Time? There are times where I'm like, don't be so spoiled. Like 10 wins being your floor is great, but when you watch the Steelers and how they get their 10 wins, you don't feel inspired at all. Like, they beat up on all the bad teams like they're supposed to. They'll have a couple of ugly games that you don't expect them to. But then when they play top contenders, they get their doors blown off. Yeah.
No, I think they do need to bottom out. But, Mike McCarthy, I don't think they didn't bring him in to bottom out. That's the problem. So, one last bit of coaching, actually a couple more bits of coaching news. Brian Daboll expected to be hired as the Titans offensive coordinator. That will happen presumably if he does not get hired as the head coach of the Raiders. He's still in the running for that job. So we'll see what happens with that.
Cam Ward to the moon.
Is it?
I actually really like this movie.
I like him.
Maybe
more.
the atmosphere. It won't.
Yeah.
Maybe it cracked the atmosphere.
Moon feels a little too far.
Daboll's had success. Look, say what you will about him being a psycho and stuff, but he has had success developing young QBs.
He has. But like they still need so much there in Tennessee. Yeah. So like Cam Ward to like just above the ozone layer. I think we can do that one. Dolphins expected to promote Bobby Slowick to offensive coordinator. To your earlier point, Florio, about a new head coach keeping old assistants. Jeff Hafley is the head coach down there in Miami. Are you surprised he's sticking with a Mike McDaniel assistant?
A bit, but I don't think they were going to be in the Grant Udinsky sweepstakes or the Davis Webb sweepstakes or the Brian Daboll. So I kind of
never thought we'd be talking about the Davis Webb sweepstakes, by the way.
Those are the top OCs available right now. But I do think Bobby Slowick got a bit of a raw deal in Houston because CJ Stroud's rookie year under Slowick, he played great, right? And then they worsened that O-line, and CJ Stroud really started to regress. Then they move on from him. They worsen the O-line again, and then CJ Stroud, I would say, reached a new low this past season. Like, he is literally getting the 9 treatment right now, where when a quarterback plays bad or someone plays bad, like the other day I saw when that huge blizzard was coming across the country, people, like a viral tweet said CJ Stroud across it. Like, it's at an all-time low right now for CJ Stroud, and I think it could get better, but the point being is that like he got even worse without Bobby Slowick there. So I'm not saying this is a slam dunk hire, but I think there could be potential there because we saw a really successful season the first year he was with Houston.
I guess the other question in LaQuan is who's the Dolphins quarterback next year? Is that a Kyler Murray landing spot? That would be interesting.
Bingo. That would be interesting. I think Tua's days are done, honestly. It's just one of those things that that ship has sailed. You know, we've seen that movie. All right, that franchise is done. Let's start, brand new. And like with Bobby coming in, like Florio was saying, like 2023 was amazing what we've seen out of CJ Stroud. I mean, get one of these young guys. I mean, make some moves in the draft. I mean, Kyler Murray's out there. We're naming names. Malik Willis, Mac Jones, Jarrett Stidham. I mean, the list goes on, like, if you want to start fresh. Like, I just hope that they don't go the route of where they want to stick with Tua and then we get the same product and then there's dirt on Bobby's name once again, being that he's not really getting the fair shake and fair shot at starting fresh. Because him staying on, I think that's huge. That's like showing trust in, like, okay, you've seen an offense be successful. You were part of an offense that was successful at one point. Let's see what you can do. So it's all coming down to fantasy-wise with the Darren Wallers, if he's still around next season. I mean, Waddle, I want Waddle to be a wide receiver 1 so bad. Like, I want this to be his ship. The talent is there, obviously. Devon Achane, obviously, is still a first-round pick, but it's going to come down to where we're at by the time June, July comes around, the tone and temperature that we feel about Dolphins players coming off the board.
Yeah, I mean, right now, the only one I have any real trust in, real excitement about is Devon Achane. Everything else is so up in the air, right? Like, when we get to whoever the quarterback's going to be, then I feel like I can truly evaluate how I feel. Like, I think Jalen Waddle can be a wide receiver 1 for the Dolphins. He cannot be a wide receiver 1 for my fantasy team. He's just not.
It's kind of like ace in baseball, right? Like, you're not an ace in MLB, but you could be an ace for a team.
You're a number 1 pitcher. You're not an ace. Like, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I will say the Dolphins put out like a promo for 2026 and Tyreek and Tua were not on it. Make of that what you will.
I just do wonder what is the future for Tyreek Hill.
Kansas City.
he goes back.
Try to sell jerseys.
That's what I actually think he's going to end up.
Yeah,
is he playing next year?
Coming off
that's
such
the problem.
Yeah, I mean, with such a catastrophic injury and with speed being the defining part of his game, if it's not there, what happens?
That Tank Dell timeline, man. I mean, we're going to be talking about him next
season. But 10 years older.
Because then you're adding a diminished Tyreek Hill to a room that has Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, question mark? I mean, like, he doesn't, it's more the same, I think.
I think he either goes there on a team-friendly deal or he pulls like a D-Hop, and he goes wherever they give him the most money.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, is he in the retirement home officially if he goes back to Kansas City? Like Tennessee, Ravens, both, like, I mean, who knows?
D-Hop yesterday was being like, I think me and Josh Allen could do something special. And everyone was like, nope. 3 years ago we wanted you. Not anymore.
Not now. Wow. All right. So there were 2 championship games played on Sunday. One of them was good. This is the other one. In the AFC, the Patriots beat the Broncos by a score of 10-7. I know everybody focused on the second half and the snow, which made the game completely unplayable. But let's be honest, it was not a great game, especially offensively, before the snow started happening. When the sun was out and the weather looked pleasant in Denver, the Broncos offense was miserable. The Patriots were being suffocated by that Denver defense. For people who like offense, you were probably better off like reading a book or something. Florio, did Sean Payton lose that game early in the second quarter when they decided to go for it on 4th and 1 instead of taking the field goal to go up 10-0?
I think so. And look, if it was Bo Nix and you go for it because you want to get a stranglehold of that game, I get it. But and this is why I get annoyed at people being like analytics, right? Like analytics tell you probability and what is the most likely best case scenario in that instance, right? But what it doesn't do is factor in that you have a quarterback who hasn't thrown a pass in an actual game in 3 years against a defense that has been suffocating. Plus, I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm guessing that they knew that bad weather was coming throughout that game, right? So you should be, if I'm Sean Payton, I'm thinking about it like I have a chance to go up 2 scores in a game that I don't expect to be very high scoring, where I could give my defense a chance to do what they do best, especially if it gets ugly weather. Because think about it, outside of the free points that Stidham basically gave to the Patriots, they scored 1 field goal on your defense the rest of the game. Right? So if Stidham doesn't make that pass, I've seen people say like, oh, they probably win. But if you go up 10-0, like that game to me is played very differently because at worst you're tied then. And like, I know you could say, oh, Will Lutz, the field goal got blocked and stuff. And he said they were a yard shorter than they normally are because they couldn't see the lines and stuff. All of that is stuff that you can't prepare for it, but you should be like, there's a chance wacky stuff happens once this wind starts swirling and the snow starts coming down. So I'm going to take the guaranteed points when I can. I think we've gone too far in the other direction where for a while it was like guaranteed coaches take the points. Now it almost feels like they never take the points. And there's a happy medium there,
Which I think when the Patriots kicked that field goal was like mid third quarter, I think it was. Because it was 4th and goal from like the 3.5. And I think it's one of those things where in the regular season or if the weather is good, I think a coach, maybe even Vrabel, tries to punch it in the end zone. I think he saw what was coming and he saw how bad the Broncos offense was. And he's like, you know what? Let's just take the points. Let's take the 3. Let's make it 10-7. And I dare Jarrett Stidham to drive the ball down the field on us and score more points. I think it's 100% what happened. And I do think so my thing with analytics, one, I think efficiency is boring. And I get it. You're trying to play probabilities and the best possible outcomes or whatever. But it also sort of leads everybody to doing the same thing and playing the same way. That's a different argument for a different time. I think there is, I think as what you're saying, the threading the needle with good coaching is understanding when you play those probabilities and when you just look with your own eyes as to what was happening. As you were talking about it, and this is where my baseball-addled brain goes sometimes, but where my mind went was the 2020 World Series, where Blake Snell, with the Rays, was absolutely shutting down the Dodgers in a championship situation. And the analytics said you don't let Blake Snell go through the lineup a third time. So the Rays went to the bullpen, Dodgers score a couple runs, they win the World Series. Everyone in that Dodger dugout said, we were thrilled as hell to see Blake Snell coming out of the game because he was absolutely shutting us down. Like we didn't want to have to deal with him the rest of the day. We just wanted anybody else on the mound. And that's one of those things where, yeah, maybe the advanced metrics tell you didn't want Blake Snell on the mound for a third go-around, but your eyes told you this offense has no shot. And I think that was I think that's the difference between Sean Payton going for it on 4th and 1 from the, 15, 16-yard line or whatever it was, versus Mike Vrabel kicking a field goal on 4th and goal from the 3 because he just looked out there and is like, look, 3 points might be all we need. That's all it was.
The thing is, right, like, it was a pass to RJ Harvey. Like, you're on a rollout, so you're cutting the field in half. Like, I get it. You need a yard. And Sean Payton spoke after the game for like a minute, and then he was like, it just wasn't the right play call. But if you don't have faith in your running back to pick up that yard on the ground, you're putting it all in. It just, to me, it felt like it wasn't even going for it. It was like that was your play. Like, you're not going to Cortland Sutton or whatever. Like, it just, I don't know. At no point did it. Watching that game, did I feel like that was the right decision to go for it or that play that he called?
I mean, okay, you're the RJ Harvey stan of record on this show. He's not an RB1, is he? Again, this is sort of like he might be Denver's RB1, but he is not an RB1.
No, it's sad. It's sad, but he needed J.K. Dobbins in that backfield. Like, I think the formula worked when J.K. was healthy, that he can have these RB1 weeks. I think when we seen him get the full workhorse ability against a softer defense, that's when we started badging him as the RB1. There's situations like this game where it's like, yeah, this ain't it. Like, you need help. You need a 1A. Like, he could be a 1B of a backfield and be complementary, where we saw Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara in New Orleans with Sean Payton, where they both were fantasy relevant. And I think that will be kind of his bag moving forward, because I don't think that Sean can hand him the rock 20, 25 times, because then he won't be efficient. He's not going to get the yards. Like, we seen him get stuff running in between the tackles the same game 6 times. And it's like, what are we doing? You know, like his game's explosiveness, his game's to be involved in the passing game like we saw, but we're not going to get enough volume. We're not going to get that payoff drafting him as an RB1, where in reality, it's just an RB2, maybe borderline RB3 at this point.
I was trying to come up with a comp for him, like a current comp. And I'm like, shiftier Tony Pollard?
Maybe
he's not. I mean,
it's hard
because he's. I mean, just watching him, he's a complimentary back, right? He's the guy. He is the explosive guy. But you know, early in that game, they were trying to run him between the tackles, and you know, he's not a guy who's going to move the pile for you. He's not gonna, he's not really going to push ahead and get you those hard yards. The times he had decent runs, usually just because he had to shake somebody in the backfield or make a couple of moves in the hole to get loose. But he's not, if you need 3, if you block it for 3, he'll probably get you those 3 in between the tackles. He's not going to get you much more than that. And I think that was the realization. That was why we saw a lot of Jaleel McLaughlin in that game, just because Sean Payton had that realization, maybe at the worst possible time.
I bet he wish he had Aldridge Estime. That's a joke. That is a joke.
Side note to this, Florio, Travion Henderson was effectively a healthy scratch. Like, I know he played, but he was effectively a healthy scratch. That has to be concerning going forward.
Yeah, it's maddening because I think he played 5 snaps the other day. And the thing is, in terms of rushing EPA this playoffs, Travion has the worst and Ramondre is second worst. So, like, it's been bad all around. I will continue to argue, though. I think they trust Stevenson just more that's evident, right? Like, I'm not even going to argue that. But I would continue to argue that for an offense that legitimately, and Patriots fans are like crushing me online right now, being like, talk about the defenses and the weather and everything. Like no one else has ever faced good teams. Like Drake May has a negative 18 EPA as a passer this playoffs. It is by far the worst of any quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl. The only other time it was negative was Jimmy G in 2019, and he was not even at -1. And Drake May's almost at -18, right? Like the play on offense has been brutal. Brutal. Wouldn't you want more explosiveness there? Like a back who has shown if you give him touches, he can hit home runs with the best of them. Like the best Patriots running back performances this year have all been Travion when Stevenson is out. So I will say, though, none of my opinions matter, right? Like just for what matters for fantasy is that this makes Travion harder to trust. Like I'll probably still be in if his price is reduced from what it was this past year, but it's going to be hard to hype him up because Stevenson's not going away, Vrabel's not going away, and it might just be more of the same next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing I come back to every year that we can talk about a guy's ability, his explosiveness. You can look at all the metrics. What matters the most is how the coaches feel about him and how they show how they feel about him. Not just what they say, because we know Sean Payton is a master of being like, Marvin Mims, man, we got to get that guy more involved. And,
who?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. So, that's, I think, kind of where I fall on the Henderson thing. Other part about this game, LaQuan, do the Broncos need more help at wide receiver? Because Courtland Sutton, I mean, obviously he has the ability to be a big time playmaker, but he also, I mean, teams just basically took him away, right? The Bills, for the most part, took him away. The Patriots, he had the touchdown catch, but other than that, I forgot Courtland Sutton was on the field for long stretches. They got to get somebody else.
He
right?
becomes such a secondary thought so quickly in games where it's like, even with Bo this season, they were just inconsistent in attacking downfield. And there were games where Troy Franklin was the one. Like, we all remember that stretch where Troy Franklin was outperforming more targets, more touchdowns than Courtland Sutton. And then you have the added factor in a Marvin Mims that shows up, whenever Sean Payton looks his way. But it's one of those things where it's like, they need somebody that brings stability. Like they need somebody that can't easily be removed from the equation. And that's exactly what's been the lore of this entire season with Sutton. So they need a 2 in a matter of like a consistent 2. Like you look at Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, they run the same routes. They kind of do the same thing. Both are explosive. Both can attack downfield. These are literally just the same player, just splitting reps. And then Pat Bryant, he's a young player, but the concussions are starting to add up. His availability is starting to be an issue. It's like they need some stability there, and Courtland Sutton can't be looked at as their one if he's getting taken out of the games every other week. So they need to do something. They need another 2. They need another solid tight end because Evan Ingram pops up every now and then and like, oh, that's Evan Ingram on the team. I forgot
what
he was
even is Evan Ingram right now?
Yeah. I literally forgot he was on the team. I'm like, oh, he's still here. Let's go. And it's like, oh, well, you don't really have an identity with your pass catchers. It's just more so, it's just whoever's out there at that point.
Yeah.
Courtland Sutton is a SP1, not an ace as well. Like,
yep.
Did you just speak another language? What?
Yeah,
it's baseball. Like,
he's a number 1 pitcher. He's a number 1 starter, but he's not an ace. Yeah.
I will say though, I have high hopes for Pat Bryant next year.
Pat Bryant is sort of he's walking the Ricky Pearsall path of like there's the potential, like you like what you see. I need you to be here. I just need you to be here with us on the field. That's what I need. So, yeah, I do think it's very interesting, though, because I've seen a lot of chatter this offseason, mostly like the stories coming out of the Broncos locker room and then, the postmortems of, hey, man, we got to go out and spend this year. I think what was the quote like, don't we have this Russell Wilson money or something? It's one of the things I saw.
Give Sean Payton credit, though, right? Like, we all thought the first 2 years he was going to, like, we're going to be atrocious post Russell Wilson. And they were the 1 seed and in the AFC Championship. And
yeah.
You can make a case they should be playing for a Super Bowl, like if things go a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bo doesn't get hurt. I think it's a whole different story that's being written.
Absolutely. No, if Bo Nix is there, it's a completely different game. In fact, everything else kind of remaining the same. Broncos Bo Nix might win this by 2 scores.
I think it was Pat Surtain was retweeted something that basically said it would have been different if Bo Nix was out there.
I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, just watching that game and watching Stidham, I don't know how many times I watched that game and rewatched that game, even knowing it was going to happen, and just yelling, throw it away. Just like watching Stidham run around.
Trying to be a hero, man.
Just throw it away.
Let's get virtual measurement full time next year, by the way, because look, I thought Drake May was down. Like he was fully stopped moving before he got pushed, but you know, some guy way older than me who was standing 30 yards away was like, no, he got there. So he got there.
I just got triggered, but I'll save it for the next segment. I just got so triggered.
All right, so now that we got the AFC out of the way, let's talk about the game that everybody, was more looking forward to. I understand you feel a little bit raw about this. I'm not here to poke at your team, but hey, look, man, I had to endure this. Florio had to endure this. You got to sit with this. Seahawks 31, Rams 27. Obviously, we'll have plenty of time to talk about the Seahawks over the next couple of weeks. Just like we'll have plenty of time to talk about the Patriots over the next couple of weeks. But for now, we kind of have to do a little bit of a quick postmortem on the Rams. LaQuan, you have been very steadfast in saying that Puka Nacua is your 1.01. I think that's a fair analysis. Is that based solely, though, on Matthew Stafford returning in 2026? And do you think he returns in 2026?
Yes, Matthew Stafford himself said he plans on playing football next year. Sean McVay, right at the game, doubled down, basically saying, yes, he expects Matthew Stafford there. And I think with Matthew Stafford in the equation next year, how can we not say Puka's not at least the 1 or 2 pick off the board? I mean, look at the season he just had. And it's like, this can continue on. The same pieces are going to be there next year. The same offense, the same quarterback, the wide receiver on the other side, and Devontae Adams, and hopefully we add a third. Like, there's going to be more pieces. There's going to be more opportunities for Puka to go out there and be a wide receiver 1, and 1.01 is not crazy. Like, I see some folks online like putting other names in the hat, like a JSN, and I'm like, well, your situation may not be the same next year. Like when you say a Justin Jefferson, who's throwing him the ball? Because it's not the fake 9. It's not the 9 that you have in your mind. Like, I just don't know who can compete for that other than a Bijan Robinson, So I think Matthew Stafford there 100% makes Puka Nacua the 101.
So this is where I push back a little bit. And it's not because of Puka, it's the Stafford side of it. Matthew Stafford at 37 years old set a career high in touchdown passes at 46. Only 4 other times. There have only been 4 other instances where a quarterback age 37 or older threw more than 40 touchdowns. Tom Brady did it twice. He did it back-to-back years at 43 and 44. 43 years old, he threw 40 touchdown passes. 44 years old in 2021, he threw 43. Every other guy who's done it, now it hasn't been a fall off a cliff, but it's been a step back to like 35 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns. Not bad seasons at all. But that does have an impact on the rest of the guys around you, especially when Devontae, the touchdown vulture Adams, is catching all these short touchdown passes.
Touchdown's a touchdown, sir.
My pushback on this is that I think Stafford, even if he has a good season, even if he doesn't need a bacchiotomy in the offseason.
We have the chamber.
Which, again, they need to be advertising more. They need to just be driving around. They need to just drive around every NFL stadium just like showing off their wares.
It's not for everybody.
But my pushback is that expecting Stafford at age 38, a guy who does still have back issues, whether that the chamber is a thing, expecting him to go out and throw 40 some odd touchdowns, especially if you're trying, unless you want him to throw the ball 650 times, which seems like malpractice, I think there's a little bit of a fallback for Matthew Stafford. That's my pushback on that.
To add to that, and I don't want to sound like I'm piling on or anything, but while Marcus, while you were talking, I went and I looked at some of the late careers for some of the great quarterbacks, right? Tom Brady, I think should have won the MVP in 2021. He threw for 5,300 yards, 43 touchdowns. The next year he was still pretty good, right? 4,700 yards, 25 touchdowns. But it was a noticeable decline from one year to the next. Peyton Manning, his second to last year, he threw for almost 40 touchdowns. He had 4,700 yards. He was brutal that next season. Aaron Rodgers literally won an MVP in 2021. Never was the same again. Ben Roethlisberger fell off a cliff like that. So it's something I say a lot, like football being such a physical game. It's not like baseball. It's not like basketball where you kind of there's an age you kind of age gracefully for a bit. Like football, it kind of tends to happen all at once. And I think Matthew Stafford played maybe arguably the best ball of his career. Easily, I would say the best ball of his Rams career this year. But just the fact that he is that old and approaching 40, it's always going to be in my head. Like, what if that fall off? Like, it doesn't have to be huge, but what if next year, instead of, 43 touchdowns, he finished with the
46 this year.
46. What if next year in the regular season, he throws like 29? Like that to me is concerning.
So where do you guys have Stafford? Where do you guys have Stafford ranked? Where do you have Stafford ranked right now amongst quarterbacks?
Among quarterbacks, like fantasy wise?
Fantasy wise. Yeah, we'll get by the way, I know you put out your list of tiers of real NFL quarterbacks. We'll get to that on Thursday because we're not going to have much else to talk about.
I can't wait for that.
We're not going to have much else to talk about because it's going to be a dead period unless you guys want to talk about Shedeur Sanders in the Pro Bowl. I do not. So where do you guys have? Where do you have Stafford ranked among fantasy quarterbacks?
Top 12. Top 12 is reasonable.
All right, but like, do you have a number? Like, because like there's 1 versus 12. Like those are very different.
He's not in the top 7. I'll tell you, for me at least. I'll tell you that. Because for me, you can put these in any order, but I do think it's Allen, Jackson, May, Burrow, Daniels, Hurts, Dart. To me, that's going to be my top 7.
Ooh. So I put together my preliminary list. I have Stafford at 12.
Which I think is fair, right? Like in that tier with like Prescott, Lawrence, maybe Brock, maybe Caleb. Like to me, I think that's because you're incorporating the risk there, right? Like if we knew he was going to be what he was this year, obviously he's top 5, but you're incorporating some risk there.
Yeah. So I got him at 12 right now.
I would say 12 is reasonable. I have him at 11. Like I think that's where he should sit respectfully with the regression, even though I think you guys are wrong. Because Matthew Stafford is an alien. He is made in the lab.
He's
37,
not.
38.
No, that's the thing. Though.
He's made in the chamber this season. So I'll tell you that.
Drum system. That's what somebody yelled at. That's what somebody yelled at me every time I mentioned Christian McCaffrey.
First of all, you guys are working next to a power plant. No, man.
But I mean, like let's keep it a buck here, right? Since Stafford left Detroit, his full healthy seasons with the Rams, he had the one season where he missed like half the season, right, because of an injury. Other than that, so 2021, when he first got there, he had an outlier season. He had 40 touchdowns. He also threw 17 picks, but whatever. He had an outlier season. The other season since then, he's been a fantasy QB too. And then this year, he had an outlier season. Like he's had 2 really outlier seasons, but the majority of the time, he's been a serviceable QB too. That's it.
He threw more touchdowns this year than the last 2 years combined.
Right.
Can we add some context between one outlier into this last season's outlier? I mean, we have to account for, hey, Cooper Kupp, you're not available. You're hurt. Where are you at? Oh, the O-line. We're picking guys up that worked at the movie theater to come and block for Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford getting injured himself with a neck pinch. Like all these things collectively added up within that window of where we got to now, where the pieces are finally set. We have another 2. We have an available 2. And therefore we have a running game that is starting to thrive, because even in that context, Kyron himself was hurt. Higbee was hurt. And we still in back-to-back seasons, yes, I do. I like him now.
My pushback on that would be, outside of Devontae missing a handful of games at the end of the year, you guys stayed extremely healthy.
Right. That's incredible.
There's no guarantee. That's more rare than not staying healthy, you know?
But that's why we took out, congrats, he's going to the Super Bowl. We took out the issue. When Cooper Kupp was not on the field, throw the entire playbook away. We do not have the time to try to develop a Josh Reynolds going all the way back in time or a Tutu Atwell with very limited time. Like, this season showed us we need two operating wide receivers that can act as ones so the playbook can continue to thrive. When you take Puka out of the equation, when you take out a Cooper Kupp, we're out there with guys that haven't played more than 5 snaps their entire time they've been there. They've been on the practice squad for most of the time. Like, that's just literally what we had to deal with.
Matthew Stafford in his 17-year career has 4 seasons with 30 or more touchdown passes. I mean, those are outlier seasons. Generally, Matthew Stafford is a guy who's going to get you 25 to 29, 30 touchdowns. Like, that's just who he is. He's been a volume shooter for a lot of his career. Those years in Detroit when he was throwing it 600 times, I still don't think you want that if you're Sean McVay. You don't want Matthew Stafford throwing the ball 600 times. I think he was amazing this year. He's going to be the MVP. I will concede that to you. I think if you're asking him to go 4,700 yards and 46 touchdowns next year, I think you're going to be hurt. I think your feeling's going to be hurt. I think your quarterback's going to be hurt. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Chill out.
Devontae's a year older. Puka stayed healthy this year. I mean, look, I'm not saying they can't do that again next year, but
it's asking a lot, man.
Literally 4 of the 5 teams that stayed healthiest this year were playing for a
So how do we take that pressure off? We get our tight end and Terrence Ferguson more developed as a pass catcher. That takes
some more tight end screens.
Devon Anthony. No. Devontae Adams is older, but we've seen times where Devontae can show up when asked to, making the amazing catch that he had in that Bears game. I look at Devontae Adams as a distraction, as a veteran, as a set piece, that he's going to put fear in defenders. So therefore he acts as a decoy, where somebody like Puka Nacua, we see him thriving no matter where you put him on the offense. If he's making the impact in the run game, if he's running the ball himself, that entity needs to live that way. Matthew Stafford can go out there and throw for 550 times more. I think with the right pieces around him to keep him upright in the O-line, the run game still thriving, now that we figure out halfway through the season that it needs to be a 1-2 punch, I don't see why he can't go out there and put up 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns.
I think you are...
Sure. That's a big fall off, though.
30 touchdowns, but 30 touchdowns, especially in fantasy, you're talking about, what are you looking at? 64 points difference? That's a huge fall off.
And we just put him in the top 12. That's still top 12 quality if you're putting up 45 and 30 touchdowns with very limited turnovers. I think that's doable and that's serviceable.
I think you're asking for a repeat of the magical season, and that's always difficult.
Yeah, I don't like chasing.
I'm not actually.
I think you are. Because 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns is still the upper echelon of what his career bests are. You're asking him at 38 years old to duplicate a magical season.
But
not
what
impossible,
if he has to do less?
Not impossible, just not something I bank on.
Prior to this year, 2021, he threw 45. And then before that, it was 2013.
We don't acknowledge Detroit anymore.
Why not?
He'll retire a Ram. It's all right. Hall of Famer, Ram.
I have no problem taking him as like a low-end QB1, but I need someone else there too, right? Like I cannot go in with just Matthew Stafford as my quarterback.
Nobody did that this year. That's the thing. Nobody did that this year. So I think him coming off the waiver wire in the first couple of weeks.
He's coming off of a very different season than he was a year ago.
That's why it's our job to make sure the fantasy streets understand, no, you don't chase last year's production. Like, you chase the actual reality of what you're sitting with now. Everything that we just explained. Top 12, still not crazy. That's low in QB1. I'll take that if I'm going to be stocking up on other rosters. But like you said, he can't just be your only quarterback on your roster.
Matthew Stafford or Caleb Williams?
That's not fair, because Caleb is going to be...
What do you mean it's not fair?
They're in the same range.
Caleb's receivers aren't going to be as good as Stafford's receivers.
But he has legs, so Caleb.
By the way, Matthew Stafford doubled his rushing total in the game over on Sunday.
He
had a 2-yard scramble, which is two times as many yards as he had.
He scared the living heck out of me, bro. Go down!
That was a fun run.
Oh my God, my couch.
Stafford hasn't been top 12, I don't think, since 2021, besides this year.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He's been a solid QB too. Anyway, we can go on for this forever. A couple of quick things before we get out of here. One, LaQuan, should Blake Corum be the Rams RB1 next year?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, no. I thought you were going to say yes.
I really thought you were going to say yes.
I've been preaching on this pod and the Rams recap that there needs to be a 1-2 punch.
So
I've been saying this for all season.
Jarquez Hunter?
Oh, here we go. Look, Jarquez is coming. He's in the wing. He's waiting for his turn. I mean, right now he's doing special teams, healthy scratch, street clothes for most of the season, but Jarquez is developing. I like when we get running backs like him that are hungry, that have the talent. He's developing. It'll be his turn later on.
All right. Other big piece of news as we get out of here. This just came across my skyline. The Jets are parting ways with OC Tanner Engstrand. So
yeah, that's deserved.
Tanner Engstrand is out of a job. The Jets will have to find a new offensive coordinator. So there you go.
You know, I don't want
to
poke fun at the most down bad franchise there is, but they're doing the opposite of what the Bills did, right? Like the Bills are like, we're going to cut the head off the snake and keep everyone else there. The Jets are like, Aaron Glenn, just a year ago, you handpicked all of these coaches and like Justin Fields and nothing worked at all, but we're going to let you rebuild it again.
So basically the Bills cut the head off a snake. The Jets are picking the legs off a spider. Is that kind of how we're doing this right now?
Do they grow back?
I don't know. Doubt it. I have no idea.
No, actually they deal with those injuries the rest of their life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If you hurt a bug, they live like that now.
Oh, damn.
So I don't hurt bugs. I try not to, at least.
I feel like if you're a spider with no legs, you probably don't live very long.
Apparently, too, I do this, I kick them out of my house. Like, I won't kill them, but I'll catch them and people are like, well, they just die outside. And I'm like, look, I'm giving them a chance.
Right. My attitude with bugs is if you're outside, like, I'll leave you be. We're on your turf. Like, if you come in the house, then we got to fight. But as long as you're outside.
You're on my turf now, buddy.
Right. If you're outside, I'll let you do your thing. That's your house. It's like, I'm not going to come into your house and just start kicking you around. But you come inside, then it's on like Donkey Kong. All right. That's all I got on Tanner Engstrand because, I mean, until they hire somebody, what is there to say?
It was so bad. You had to, right? Like
it was bad. Free Breece Hall, free Garrett Wilson.
Is he part of the Ben Johnson tree, or do they just not going to acknowledge that? Like how I do Zach Taylor.
I guess he would be part of the Dan Campbell tree.
Yeah, I think that's more accurate.
Gotcha.
It's more accurate. So, all right. We'll be back on Thursday. We'll make up some things to argue about because I don't want to talk about the Pro Bowl.
Yes, you do.
I mean, I have thoughts on the Pro Bowl, but I'll wait till Thursday.
Is Matthew Stafford the second best quarterback alive? That's what we're going to talk about.
See, you guys just want to argue all day. I don't want to do that. I like you guys. I don't want to be triggered. I don't want to crash out. I like you guys. It's all good. It's all good.
I think that's like an argument. It's a conversation. It's a discussion. Anyway.
Nope.
Stick around Thursday for that. In the meantime, that'll do it for this edition of the NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. Stay happy, stay safe, stay healthy. Please do good and please live well. We'll talk to you again on Thursday.